Hey, it's Kelly Ray Light, and I am so excited for tonight. So, as you are hopping on, say hi in the comments. Whether you're live or on the replay, doesn't matter. Say hey, let us know where you're checking out the video from, and I'm going to open this up now. So, today we're answering the question: is yoga for everybody? Is it for everybody? So, I am going to invite my friend Tanja up in just a second. She's going to be sharing more information with us, but I want to open this up. If you have never tried yoga before, or you're a beginner for yoga, or maybe you've tried it and you were like, that's not for me, I want to invite you to drop your questions in the comments. We will answer them either live or, we'll go back on the replay. But we're going to see how Facebook does this. I think I have to wait for her to request to be on the video. So, Tanja, if you're on, please request to join the video. Hey, Delroy. And then I'm going to be picking her brain a little bit. So, have you ever tried yoga before? Let me know in the comments. And I'm going to try to invite her. This is so interesting with the technology. Well, 6 o'clock, so we'll give her a minute. I will just share a little bit about my experience with yoga as we're waiting for her to pop on. Yeah, I started, hey, so Tanja's here. So really quick, Tanja, you're going to press request to join in the bottom of the video, and it should allow you to request to join. It's not allowing me to add you. Very strange, but if you request to join, it should let you. So we'll see. Hopefully Facebook is going to behave with us. And let me know, Tanja, if you have like a request to join or something like that. I tried to do it from the start of the video. We're going to make it happen. We're going to figure out the Facebook technical difficulties. But while she is requesting to join, I will share with you a little bit. Okay, interesting. She says she doesn't see the option to join. Oh, goodness. Okay, I am going to, let me see. Yeah, it doesn't allow me to invite you. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Tanja, I'm going to send you an invite. So you have to accept it, but I'm going to send it right now. And it's adding you to it. So hopefully she's going to be on in a second, and I'll let her introduce herself. So a little bit about my yoga experience. In high school, I was telling my mom that I was building too much muscle. I was in cheerleading and dance like 6 days a week, and my legs were huge and they were muscular. And my mom said, "Oh, we'll do something like yoga, and it will lengthen your muscles out." I didn't know anything about muscles before massage. Hey, she's on. Awesome. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. It's so good to
So I
have
was
you with
trying
us.
to connect with my laptop and it's not letting me.
That's so funny. It must just be on the phones. I didn't even know that that was a thing, but you're here. Yay. Um,
Yes.
I think if you turn your phone back the other way, now you're sideways.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to plug my phone in because I wasn't planning on doing it on my phone. But
Okay,
let's see how.
go grab your charger. I'm gonna share just a little bit about what I know about
Cool.
yoga. So go grab your charger, and then
Okay.
I'll let you. You're the expert. She's the expert, not me. So my mom had mentioned, oh, maybe try yoga. And that was my first introduction. And I didn't do it for years. And then in college, I started getting into my spirituality. And it came up, and I thought, maybe this is the right time. And then, a couple of years ago, I developed an avid practice where I was practicing 6 to 7 days a week. Now I practice maybe once or twice a week. I'm getting back in the flow there. But for me, it is very much a mind, body, spirit practice. It is body movement, but I also enjoy the breath work and the pause that yoga allows me of really taking time to be present and allow my mind to just focus on one thing. So that's my favorite part about it. Um, I think she's almost ready.
Yes.
Yay!
Hi.
Awesome. Hi. Thank you
Oh, you gotta
so
love
much
it.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. This is super cool. So I'm pronouncing your name right, Tanja?
No, it's Tanya.
It is Tanya?
Tanya, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be. All right. So this is Tanya. So Tanya, tell us a little bit about you and where you're from.
So I live in Toronto, Canada. I'm from former Yugoslavia in Bosnia, Sarajevo. So I'm like half Serbian, half Croatian. And I've been living here most of my life. Today is a beautiful sunny day, but usually, I think you live in Florida, right? Or you're there right now. So we have the opposite weather. I am a summer baby though, so I'm all about warm weather. And when there isn't a pandemic going on, I'm usually traveling and doing retreats and doing things all over the world, especially in warmer climates. So
That's super
um,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for now, for this year, spent most of the year here. A year ago, I was actually in Bali hosting a retreat, and then came back because of COVID. And I used to run a yoga studio that had to shut down due to COVID, just like many small businesses. And that's why I'm really huge on supporting small businesses, especially this year. So since my studio shut down, I had to take the business online completely. So I started to teach online and then created an online yoga and wellness platform called Bliss Yoga Anywhere. And because the studio used to be called Bliss Yoga Studio, so we tried to keep the same name. And it was really well known in our city, in our neighborhood for almost 2 decades. And now the exciting part about it is I get to take it worldwide. So you're always going to find the positive, right? So it's just taking what I know and the community that's here and building it to connect everyone all over the world. And I already have some clients from the States, from Australia, from Europe. So it's really nice to be able to do that. But the other big component of what I do is retreats. And I started doing that a couple years ago when I really started to take my yoga career full time. And it's because I get to connect with so many like minded women. The retreats right now are women only. I haven't been ready or prepared to go into any other realms or genders yet. But I just go with kind of what I can resonate with most. I do them with my cousin. We do them kind of all over the place. We find really nice properties. And like I said, we've been keeping it to Ontario, Canada, but when the restrictions lift, we're planning to have retreats everywhere, meaning not just in Canada, but in the States and Mediterranean and Caribbean and all that kind of stuff.
That's exciting. I used to do
Yeah.
retreats as well, like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend is from Bulgaria. So kind of neighbor from where you're from. And we are talking about, doing retreats in Bulgaria, bringing in instructors like yourself. I'm not a yoga instructor, so we would partner with somebody like you. But yeah, I love that. And I think there's such a need for people. So on your retreats, is it mostly yoga based?
Yoga is just like one component of it.
Okay.
So it's actually called Love Yourself Yoga and Wellness Retreats. So that's just one component of it. And the best part is anyone can do it. Like even someone who's never done yoga, they can come to the retreat. It's not one of those retreats where it's like based and focused on yoga. That's just one component of the movement aspect of the retreat. And then everything else is really pertaining to all things wellness. So nutrition, we do a lot of energy and like Reiki healing. We do all kinds of workshops and activities. It's usually about 3 or 4 days. It's a well-rounded, fulfilled weekend that ends up feeling like a whole week, really, that you kind of get away and completely step away from this chaos that we live in,
Yeah.
even in a normal world, even pre-pandemic.
Sure, sure. Yeah, now people need it like 5 times more than they did before. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
is so cool. And so, um, I titled this "Is Yoga for Everybody?" because I wanted to kind of bust a myth that I always hear. And so you just kind of touched on it because you said, anyone can do this. And I love that because when I think yoga retreat, I have heard people say, well, I did yoga for 6 hours on a retreat. I love yoga, but I want to do the more the activities, the workshops, the self-development, as well as the yoga, the healthy eating. What you're describing sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to go on one of your retreats. That sounds awesome.
Yes,
But
definitely. I'll bring it to Florida.
yeah, I'm in. Let me know. I will help you. We'll make that
Yeah.
happen. Um, but I wanted to know if you could speak to that because I've heard people say things like, Oh no, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible, or I can't do yoga because whatever reason they're telling themselves. And so I wanted you as the expert to share a little bit about your thoughts and yeah, just what you think about that.
Yeah, so definitely all myths.
Right?
Yes, and I do bring this up a lot, especially at the retreats, to kind of reassure people that those are myths, and soon enough they realize that they are. One main thing about that is to know we are all naturally flexible. We have it in us. Not every style of yoga or movement or exercise or sport is for everyone, but there is movement, and especially in yoga, that is for everybody. Um, the best part about it is because it is for everybody. And I literally talk about that a lot. I'm like, all you have to do is get that connection with your body, listen to where you want to move. And even if me as a teacher, I'm, in a class saying go into this movement or into this pose, I will give you modifications, which eventually you can even figure out yourself to do it in a way that works for you. And what I love is that we have all kinds of props nowadays, from bolsters to blocks to straps, all these things. So there's never really an excuse that you can't do something. And it's not a bad thing, right? So all these things as props are looked at as like, oh, it's, for people who need assistance or can't get into a pose. It's way more than that. It's actually some of the most advanced yogis use props. They're really, really good for you, and they just help you get into a pose that works for your body. So it definitely is for everybody. And I love it when I see people's, expressions and realizations when they discover that as they're doing a yoga class. They're like, oh, I never thought I could do that. Or even after like a day or two or trying a couple classes, they're like, oh, I couldn't do that the other day, but now I can. So the beauty of it is our bodies are honestly capable of anything. And I love, I always go back to what one of my teachers said, and he's like, it's not who's extremely flexible. I'm talking like Ashtanga yogi, like pretzel type of stuff. I can't do that stuff. And people always ask him like, how are you so flexible? Were you like that as a child? And he's like, no, I don't recall, but I do recall and always know that my mind was flexible. So it wasn't my body, it was my mind was flexible, and then I just naturally adapted to be able to do all these things. Of course it takes effort, but it just goes back to that whole mind body connection, and how our mind is so much in control of what our body can do. So if you tell yourself I'm not flexible, I can't do that, probably won't be able to do it. It's just accepting it and allowing it to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And
I don't know if I fully answered your question. There was a couple parts to
oh yeah,
it.
no, yeah, you totally did. You answered it. Um, and I love the idea of the flexibility being in the mind. So my favorite part of yoga is being in a posture, and you're like, oh, okay, I feel it, right? You get into the point where you feel that stretch, and then you take a couple breaths, and if you actually put your awareness where the tension is, and you say, okay, relax, all of a sudden you feel your muscle give way. And I'm a
Yeah.
massage therapist, so like, I'm imagining what's happening with the muscles, and you can just feel like it drop and melt. And it's amazing how 1 second before you had that resistance, but as soon as you allow, you melt. So it's powerful. Yeah.
It's very powerful. And I actually just finished another training. So for the past couple of years, I'm wanting to, any teacher, as any job, you always have to do more and more trainings, depending on where you want to advance and what you want to learn. So exactly pertaining to that, I just finished my yin teacher training, and that's all about traditional Chinese medicine, stretching the fascia and all of that. It's essentially giving your body a massage through holding poses for a longer period of time. And that's exactly what happens in yin yoga, especially, is because it's slowed down, and it's meant to kind of hold a pose that's on your comfort level. So it's taking a pose and saying, okay, I think I'm good here. I'm going to hold this, because you have to hold it from anywhere to 1 to 5 minutes, and just allowing yourself to find that edge. And that's exactly what happens, is what you said. You breathe, and then all of a sudden everything just kind of relaxes. The same way as when you're getting a massage or my facial release, imagine someone's doing this, except it's your breath just sending that relaxation, and it just becomes more and more and more relaxed, to the point where sometimes you're like, you go from discomfort to total comfort and you don't want to move, right?
Yeah.
And that's why after a lot of yoga classes, especially kind of the yin ones, everyone's like floating and just feeling so great. So I love that stuff.
Yeah, I love it too. That's so cool. And then power, I think also there's a misperception or a misconception. I've heard people say like, oh, yoga was boring for me. And I'm like, okay, well, yin is definitely not your thing then, right? Like, don't go to a yin
Yeah.
class if you feel that way because, and I've also been in power classes where I've had MMA fighters who weren't able to make it through the flow and the pace, but walked out of it saying, wow, that really pushed me more than I thought. So I also love that there's all these different styles and something for everybody, no matter what they're wanting. So
Exactly, which goes back to your question. It's literally for everybody. You just have to find what works for you. Some people just want yin. But if you're just going to do a yin yoga class, you need some kind of yang movement in your life, right? Whatever exercise that is for you. Like, especially, nowadays with being stuck inside, everybody needs to at least walk or run or some kind of, sport or exercise.
I didn't even think about that of being a yin and yang balance. Like,
Yeah.
of course, that's everything is yin and yang, right? How funny. You just gave me like a
Everything.
huge light bulb. So funny.
I
So
know.
yeah, so tell me more about the digital transition and what's an at-home yoga experience like?
So I would definitely say in the beginning, it was very tough, very frustrating. Not just for me, but for the students especially. A lot of the students were very hesitant. Well, I don't want to go online, and this was, at the time, everyone was kept thinking like it's gonna go back to normal tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And then I think after some time, people were like, well, okay, I desperately need some mindfulness for like the mind and body and movement. So I think people started to embrace it. I started to embrace it. I was like, well, I have to do this. I have to make it happen. And I feel like it was anyway where the world or future was going. And the beauty of it is that even though this can stay this way, and a lot of people now have this convenience and comfort to practice from home, I feel like there would be, again, going back to balance and yin and yang, there would be a nice balance when things do go back to normal for people who do want to teach, or go to a class in person, or, have that at home option. So I think that's something people have discovered through this whole process is because you don't have to commute. You don't have to, a lot of people, I remember for years, even myself, I remember when I used to go to yoga studios, you get stressed trying to make it to a class on time, and that stresses you out. And it's like, I'm supposed to go to yoga to feel relaxed. So that was one thing I noticed, like with a lot of the students, and now they're like, they press play, like not play, but Zoom, whatever it is, right, to join you live. So it's like they're joining you live, but they don't have to rush. They're at home. They're already more relaxed, and there's so much positive to it, and that I think a lot of people do love about it now, and it's so convenient, right? The other nice part about it is that there's been times where if you miss a class, we record our classes and then we send it to the students, and it's like
Oh, cool.
visible to, yeah, so that way they get to experience what we experienced the same day, but maybe later on in the day. It's still really nice to have that human connection. A lot of people say they still prefer to, have this connection with the same instructors and similar classes and all this stuff because then we continue to make this friendship, right, and connection with our students as opposed to it's so easy to just go online and find free yoga videos. But a lot of them, first of all, they're not going to talk to you. They're not going to make adjustments. They're not going to know your style and your energy. All this kind of stuff is really, really important to have a real live person teaching. So it's been a lot of adjusting, but a lot of embracing it and just finding the beauty of it. Like I always say, before and after my classes, I encourage all the other instructors to as well to talk with the students, to have, you know, it doesn't even have to be yoga related. It can be, right? So like students can ask you questions about how do I do this pose or I need a modification for that and things like that. But sometimes it's just talking about what's going on. Like how's your life? How's your day going? Right? Like we all need a lot more connection and communication. So that's the part I do love about it, and I'll continue to take it with me everywhere I go. So when I am finally, out and about doing retreats and traveling again, I'll be able to teach wherever I go. So it's great.
Yeah, that how cool, right? So Demeter always says every bad for good. It's like my favorite Bulgarian English translated saying. And I find that over and over that yes, we all went through like, so much last year, but it created space to embrace something new. And how cool is that now you can incorporate this with your traveling and be able to create that community. And I was actually wondering about the adjustments and the corrections because I've been doing Gaia. I have Gaia TV, but I miss the correction. And I also miss like a teacher reading the energy and taking the class, like, okay, you can see where people are and taking them on a journey. So I like that you're able to do those corrections live. I think that's neat.
Yeah, it's definitely much harder. We encourage people to, put their cameras on or turn their mic on if they have a question during class, but it's okay to have those conversations after class too. I definitely miss the aspect of, like you said, being in person, feeling that energy, being able to touch everyone and to have those adjustments. But it's just learning new ways to do it online. That for many people, it works. It's never going to be the same as in person, but it's still a way to be able to know, like, oh, you recognize them by their names, you've maybe seen their faces, and then it's like, okay, I know who's here today. I can kind of read the energy and what we're going to do. So it's still nice that you can do that and not just have like a generic class with a bunch of random people that you don't know.
Right. Yeah. I like that. I think that's really cool. So, um, I think those are all the questions I had. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit, highlight you. I'm so excited that you're going to be a vendor in this upcoming event. This is the first time I've reached out to the holistic community and kind of brought my people into these type of vendor events, and I'm really excited. So, can you tell the people who might be watching this live or replay, whatever, where can they learn more about your business?
Definitely. So you can on my Facebook or Instagram. So Facebook is just my name, and you'll have that on this video or in the profile. Um, on Facebook, the page for the Bliss website is Bliss Yoga Anywhere. That's the Facebook page. That's the Instagram handle, and our website is blissyogaanywhere.net or .com. So you can find all the information there. I have monthly and yearly memberships that everyone's signed up for. Also, I offer, new students, someone who's either new to yoga or not sure, like I offer free trial classes. But a part of the online unlimited, so they get unlimited yoga classes live, but they also get all different kinds of resources and tutorials, blog, and all that kind of stuff that comes with it.
Awesome.
So definitely, yeah, check out the website. And I think that's it.
Yeah, super cool. Well, thank you again. This has been so wonderful getting to know you a little bit, connecting with your energy. I'm definitely going to get down on some of your yoga classes because I'm missing that community kind of spirit. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And I look forward to seeing you in the vendor event. Um,
Yes, thank you.
oh, wait, we have a question. Anna,
Oh,
hey,
I don't.
Anna. So, Anna is asking, can she do yoga if she has a herniated disc?
Yes, I've been struggling with that for years, actually, or that's been a challenge of mine. When I would say when it first happened, I did take it easy, so I would definitely recommend, whether you're going to osteopath or chiropractor, to see how it's doing, like how much you're healing, if you are healing, or how recent it is. But there is a lot you can do even with a herniated disc, just a lot of cautious and modifications that you need to take. Um, there's so many different kind of poses that may actually help with the healing, but there's also ones that could reverse it. So I can tell you lots more about that. Anna, feel free to reach out to me. But that's been definitely one of the pain and traumas that I've been through is dealing with that. And it's just learning how to be careful and to train your body to not kind of set it back for the disc to slip or anything like that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Great insight. I have two herniated discs too, and I have found yoga to be very helpful in regulating that pain and strengthening my core to support the back. So,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, good stuff all around. Well, great. So, thank you for tuning in. Anna, you're welcome. Make sure you hit Tanya up. She can help you more. And for those of you that are interested in yoga, you're interested in holistic living, eco-friendly living, we have an amazing vendor event coming up. It's totally free to join. There's no obligation. You don't have to buy anything. There's going to be games and prizes. We have a $50 cash giveaway that's going to be happening on Saturday, as well as a $150 cash giveaway. So join us, have some fun, learn about how to holistic your life, so to speak, and we would love to see you there. So Tanya, thank you again. It was a pleasure getting to know you, and I'll see you soon.
And thank you, Kelly, for doing this and also for creating the event. I can't wait.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm excited too. We'll see you there.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.